everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to Conjure Crew. Today,
No, go ahead. I just had to turn my comments on.
Welcome to Conjure Crew. Today we are talking about the Lion's Gate. We did find a couple of videos. One really explains it in detail, and the other one, which we spliced it together, it's all one video. But the latter half explains more about what's happening today, right now in 2021. Is there anything that you ladies would like to say?
No, I think let's go ahead and play the video first, because I think it'll give the basic understanding of what Lion's Gate is, and then we can kind of go from there and then take questions. Or either some people I'm pretty sure are well familiar with it that are going to share some knowledge and teach us some things.
Okay, sounds good. How about you, Shishi?
Okay. Well, I think the interesting thing, what I was going to say before we start the videos, is that each Lion's Gate has a different property to it. So this last Lion's Gate was the end of denial. So this was talking about things that maybe we were hiding from ourselves, hiding from others. And so that brought out a lot of energy in this Lion's Gate that forced us to see some of the shadows that maybe we were hiding through most of the year. So that's all I was going to say.
All right, well, let's go ahead and play the video, because I think some of that stuff was covered, but we can go more into it. And then I'm sure, other people will have comments and let us know what they think as well. So let's go ahead and get this started.
The cosmic alignment called the Lion's Gateway opens every year on and around the 8th day of the 8th month. This is a time of amplified cosmic energy between the physical and spiritual realms. Third eyes everywhere will open on August the 8th as the bold sun in Leo aligns with Sirius, the star known as the spiritual sun, and it generates a high frequency that activates what is referred to as the Lion's Gate portal. The Lion's Gate energy isn't just reserved for August the 8th, however. There is an opening phase, which begins on and around July the 26th, and the closing that concludes on and around August the 12th. It will reach the peak of its energy on August the 8th. The Lion's Gate has been observed and honored for thousands of years and has ties to ancient Egypt, where it was noted as a time of great energetic influx and activation. This gateway is marked by the peak alignment between the Earth and the star Sirius. As Sirius rises in the sky, Orion's belt directly aligns with the pyramids of Giza, and from our perspective on Earth, it appears that Sirius is now closer to the Earth. In Egypt, this was marked by abundance, represented by the rising of the Nile River. When this alignment happens, there is an intense surge of light, which awakens DNA, activates the human energy field, and transmits high vibrational frequencies and codes of awakening. Sirius's energy also awakens those who are willing and activates their third eye chakra. It serves to remind us that we are not in the universe. We are the universe. During this time, we are all going to be reminded that we are connected to the universe and that we hold an innate wisdom and power to create our own reality through our thoughts and perceptions. It's called the Lion's Gate or Lion's Gateway because it occurs in the astrological sign of Leo the Lion. As a zodiac sign, Leo is associated with the heart center. This year is particularly powerful too, since we are beginning to emerge from a season of retrogrades, with Mercury going direct on the 31st of July to the 1st of August. The Leo energy forces opportunities for dramatic new beginnings. This gate swings open, and we are being swept over the threshold, a symbol of the beginning of a new life. Light codes of ascension, mastery, and evolution will discharge towards Earth during this time, aligning yet another path of activation and opportunity for progression on the ascension path. This time is ripe for an uncomfortable but necessary acceleration of our spiritual growth. The ability to cross other dimensions and astral travel will also be strong at this time, as many believe that the activation of the Lion's Gate can blur the lines between different dimensions and frequencies. It's also worth bearing in mind that in numerology, the number 8 is the number of infinity. The number 8 resides in its ability for manifestation on every level. So when it shows up in such a magnificent and auspicious way, it is offering assistance to rapidly manifest whatever it's directed toward, almost like an amplifier. The Lion's Gateway energy can assist you to be more fully awakened to your divine light, and it will help you embody divinity within your physical form. Embracing transformation and change can be challenging, even chaotic, and so it's worth considering how you might want to brace yourself for the awakening that is coming. Always remember who you are and what you came to Earth to create and experience as a soul and a being of infinite light and energy. You are blessed if you have this awareness and understanding, because so many live in confusion and struggle with only the fearful ego to guide them. When it comes to relationships with others, Lionsgate is really going to be asking us to be firm in our intentions and look past the ego. We are going to be challenged by this energy to find that place of unconditional love and understanding, and to have the courage to move on and let go, or step deeper into the work. If you find that emotional storms begin to rage all around you, hold on to your inner peace and stay grounded. This is a time to meditate, manifest, discover your inner peace, and it is also a time that you will need to care for your physical body. Allow yourself time to adjust to the higher frequencies and awareness that you are being exposed to. Allow the energy in, but be mindful to stay grounded at the same time, as not to let the intensity of the energy to overwhelm. You may experience tiredness, even exhaustion, as these intense frequencies are extremely powerful. Surrender. Relax and allow soul and higher self to be your support and to create the miracles that will take you forward into new levels of love, experience, and joy when your body accepts and acclimates to these intense and powerful flows of energy from the soul. This is currently a powerful time in the universe, making it the perfect time to go within and truly understand all that you are. You are a limitless being, an infinite soul that is here on Earth to grow and evolve in order to expand. Be awake, be aware, and be empowered.
Now we are really getting into the most energetic and vibrational part of the entire year. It's getting very intense, and Leo energy is all about the heart energy and expansive creative energies, okay? So this is the most powerful part of the year since the solar flash of last year on the 21st, and a lot of people are feeling it. So when I'm speaking to clients, some people are having a little bit of a wobble, some people are really coming into their power. But if you are having a little bit of a wobble and you're getting ascension energies and you're getting aches and pains and you feel feel lightheaded and heart palpitations, don't worry, it's going to pass. Because when we get a massive wave that comes up, it levels off. And then we get another wave, and then it levels off. You integrate the energies. You get a DNA upgrade, and then it levels up. But right now, we're on the up, and we're on the up and up. So it's like our carbon bodies are like sand. It's being superheated into glass, being crystalline. Then it settles for a bit, and then we're being superheated into crystalline again. So let's just have a quick look at an explanation of why it's arriving now and how this works. The Lion's Gate portal is the name for this celestial event that sees Sirius rising in the sky during August, the time of Leo. Sirius is one of the brightest stars in our night sky. At 26 times brighter and 2 times larger, it's considered a spiritual sun. On August 8th, after a disappearance, Sirius returns to the night sky, a moment that was revered by many old civilizations like the ancient Egyptians, who believed it was a time of renewal and advancement. Also coinciding is the Orion constellation, which includes the Sirius star, which is said to align with the Great Pyramids of Giza, which is part of the Lion's Gate opening. A layer of energetic opportunity starts on the 26th of July and peaks on August 8th. This also coincides with the new Leo moon and the beginnings of a new lunar cycle, bringing in an array of new beginnings. New moons feel like a particularly ideal time for self-reflection, course correction, and goal setting. So with the new moon coming in Leo on the 8th, it's basically going to supercharge the energies even more. We've also got 6 planets in fixed signs as well at this moment in time. So that is adding to the ferociousness of the energies that are coming in right now. So everything is going to be accelerated. Everything is going to be a lot more intense. Timelines are going to speed up, and it's going to be a time of accelerated learning, but also accelerated ascension symptoms, and also accelerated timelines and manifestations. So it's going to be really good to keep on top of that and keep toxins out of your body, stay grounded, and eat light. Drink lots of water during this time. August is going to be massively about embodying your heart energy. If you're not sure how to get through August, or it seems like it's a bit intense, use heart energy, use compassion and love to guide you through everything that you're going through, because that's going to be the easiest way to get through the coming weeks. That's quite important. With the Lion's Gate ramping up until the 8th of August, and we've got a moon supercharging this as well, you're going to need to dig deep and think about adaptability. Don't be too stuck in your ways about what you think should happen and how you're going to do this and all this kind of stuff. A new moon is all about adaptability, new beginnings, new things coming in, new relationships. So flow like water a little bit in your manifestations and be open to things coming in. This is a very accelerated time. This Lion Gate energy is also going to amplify the freedom level, the lion heart energy, the lion or the lioness in you. We're going to get a lot more rebellions, more riots, more protests, more people demanding freedom, justice, wanting their freedoms back. And they're not going to want any of the restrictions that are put on them because of this or the various tests and things like that. So it's going to make them fight even harder for the freedoms that they want. Everything's going to be amplified and intensified. There's going to be a little bit more drama during this month, because you can't keep a lion locked in a cage. It's going to try to claw its way out. So watch out for that. And if you think you're going to be near a riot or something, or you're going to be near amplified energy that's not right for you, stay at home, stay safe. For some, this is going to be a period of emotional, involuntary reactions to things being triggered. Probably the worst that they will be triggered at any point of the year, as the energies are so intense. So be aware of your triggers. There's going to be a lot of shadow stuff coming to the surface, a lot of healing and traumas from the past that will come to the surface. So people will be inclined to think from the heart first without using the head. So be aware of what you're doing, what you're saying to other people, and also the external that you're taking in on yourself. Do not slip into the fear and the fear narrative, especially that the mainstream media are pushing out right now, because as the light is going up and up and up and up, like I've been saying for months, the dark will keep going up and up and up. Right now, the dark are losing big time. That's why when you switch on the mainstream media, they're going on and on about this non-stop. And you've got to put that thing up your nose and everything else, and you can't go anywhere, and there's restrictions on everything. That means we're winning, guys. That means we are winning. So just be aware of this, and don't get caught up in the mainstream media. Don't let the external and the dramatization of everything that will be ramping up this month become internalized in you. So become aware of your own aura, your own space, your own shield, your own parameters, and set your parameters. You do your internal work, and you're going to be very, very good in this time, because the dark are losing big time at this moment. And August is going to be a time where they're going to fight back, and you're going to be reading it in your papers, and you're going to be seeing it on the mainstream media. August will be the time when the dark are losing badly. You know, the Illuminati, the New World Order, the Dark Ones, all of those names. The 1%, the elite who rule the world. They're ramping up their game in August because the energies are so high. So watch out for that. And if you do see people going into fear and they're trying to pull you down, stick with your tribe. Go to your 5D people. People are either on your path or supporting it. And if they're not, stay away from them. This really is the climax time of this year, the boiling point, the tipping point, whatever you want to call it, where the 3D people or the unawakened souls are going to really be battling their egos. And they're going to be trying to say people, well, you should have done this and you should have done that. And they're going to be lashing out. So do not let yourself be part of that, and just take an observational role. Good advice. And I want to offer a little bit of Arcturian synergy into this. The resonance that they're talking a lot about this moment in time is everyone coming together, finding your 5D tribe. Those of you who are coming out of the 3D matrix, those of you who are leaving a 3D job, thinking about moving on, thinking about doing something else, thinking about starting a new endeavor, thinking about starting a new project, thinking about starting new ways of money. You're going to need to find your 3D tribe. You're going to need to come together with other people. Now's not a good time to go at it alone. Now is a good time to be inclusive and working with other people this month. So find your 5D tribe. If you're starting something new and that new moon is triggering you to go off on a tangent, something new that you haven't done before, get inclusive, bring other people in with you. So here's the conclusion. It's going to be a much more dramatic month. It's going to be a tipping point. It's going to be a boiling point of energies. 3D people are going to be on the edge. Stay away from them. Don't let the external govern you. Let your internal govern you. Don't worry if you're having a wobble this month, because the energies are super high. They are so turbocharged, and all of you are doing so well.
I stopped it there.
You know, this was 100% on point. And like Shishi said, every Lionsgate affects you differently. But I will say this one has produced the most fear in people that I have seen. Even awakened people are scared. Every little thing is like, I got to hold on to it. I got to hold on to it. I got to hold on to it, or I have to kill myself. It literally, it's a very, very fearful energy that is attacking a lot of people right now. And a lot of people are so discombobulated with it, because they're trying to manifest, but they're not in alignment because of fear. And this Lion Gates, like Shishi said, is just bringing out so much to the surface that people are going to have to start looking at themselves honestly. And like he said, the tribe that they're hanging out with, the people that you're bringing into your life, it's going to be like this big magnifying glass. And a lot of people are going to freak out when they see people for who they really are. Or they look at themselves.
I think it not only, I mean, it brought out a lot of fear, but I think it brought out also just a lot of things that we thought were tangible, and they weren't. I mean, there were a lot of deaths that happened during this Lion Gate. Like, it was like back to back to back for some people. You know, natural disasters occurred during that time. People were losing their homes. There's just a lot of uncertainty that came out with this Lionsgate. Like, people yearned for freedom, and they still, I mean, people are still working towards, you know, having whatever their freedom may be, because we all consider freedom something different.
Absolutely.
But in yearning for that freedom, it brought out a lot of the things that they were scared to let go of. But I also feel like this Lionsgate, even for the awakened, even for the people who may not work completely on this 3D reality, it made them realize that they were really focused on this 3D reality. They weren't looking at everything that could occur on a lot of different levels. So when we're talking about when they were trying to manifest, it was difficult for them to manifest, you're right, because of fear, but also because they were only looking at it from this one perspective.
Absolutely.
And so it showed a lot of people their insecurities and their limitations. But the thing about the Lionsgate, sorry.
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead.
The thing about also this Lionsgate, because the energy is so powerful, they are manifesting. But what they're manifesting, or what they were manifesting, were their fears coming into this plane. So if they were scared about like not having enough money, then they weren't having enough money. If they were scared about losing their relationship, that was amplified. If they were scared about losing friendships or not having a job, all of that was manifested because the energy was so powerful, but it was on a what one would consider a negative end. So that's what I was.
It's interesting to me when we look at leaders in the religious and spiritual community that are either faith-based, where they have a faith in a higher power, or those that actually communicate, and are connected to their spirits, operating out of fear. And it makes me wonder, like he said, really looking at yourself and dealing with the shadow issues that you have to deal with. Because if you're operating, if you believe in a higher power, if you believe in God, if you believe in, your deities that you work with, if you believe in the spirits that you work with, we're not supposed to operate in fear, because we're supposed to be awakened, and we're supposed to know that through that connection, we are limitless. But there's been a lot of religious and spiritual leaders that they've kind of jumped on this thing with fear. Oh, don't do this. Oh, take the thing. Oh, stick the thing up your nose. Oh, if you don't get it, you're going to die. Oh, if you don't, prescribe to Western medicine, you're going to die. Or if you don't do this, you're not going to be able to make it. But there's a separation of their faith that I'm noticing this Lionsgate. And maybe it's because we're all looking, like you said, what is freedom to us? What is it that we feel like we need from this? So it's really interesting how it plays off. I haven't had any ascension symptoms, a little bit of a headache and not sleeping late or sleeping well at night. What have you guys felt? Because normally with Lionsgate, I ache, like I literally have arthritis all over my body, and I didn't get that this time. So even the energy to me was different. What did y'all feel?
I had my head hurt a lot.
Yeah, I had major headaches. I will say that.
And I don't know if this is a symptom or not, but it's just like allergies are awful. Just like oversensitive.
I didn't have headaches, but I didn't sleep well. So I would wake up all the time between the hours of 3 and 5.
Yeah, most people are waking up at 3 a.m. Yeah.
At that time. But then I also had a lot of, like, my fear and was amplified. I felt like I was in a fog. This Lionsgate, I felt really lost. Like there was no clarity for me.
You're not by yourself. A ton of people. I mean, my inbox was filled with people that were confused and lost. And most of them were relationships. Like he was saying, the heart center, most of the people that were freaking out because of relationship. This thing really attacked a lot of people's self-esteem, because I had a ton of women that came into my inbox and it's like, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I mean, it's crazy the amount of messages that I got. So for some people, it literally hit the insecurities head on. Even I had my days of doubts. So there was definitely something that was highlighting and showcasing, like it was like somebody was poking you in your insecurity, and you're like, a lot of people felt that energy.
It's funny because I'm actually, the project that I posted on Facebook that I'm doing is sort of in reference to the situation that happened for many people during Lionsgate, and how to kind of balance that energy back so that they can have what they want. But I think this Lionsgate was it was brutal. It was brutal.
Yeah.
It took no prisoners. It took no names. It just went through like a hurricane. And I mean,
yes.
Rarely. I mean, normally you would see that on like an eclipse or Mercury retrograde, but this was worse for many people than a Mercury retrograde.
Now, I think every planetary exchange this year has been brutal. I really do. The last Mercury retrograde was insane. I've never, even if you didn't believe in it, people were believing in it because there were so many issues with communication. There were so many issues with confusion. And then we go into Lionsgate where you are being, you're getting downgrades and you're having so many things that are being pushed in front of you. A lot of people were like, oh my God, I just barely got my balance back. And here we go with this. So I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of it was brutal so far. A lot of it was.
Do you think that's because the new moon was on Lionsgate, and with the new moon, in a sense, that cuts things off so that it starts completely over?
I mean,
I think.
Lionsgate is. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Girl, I'm going to take a sip of this cranberry juice. Go ahead and say what you got to say.
I think this Lion's Gate in itself, even if it wasn't the new moon on it, was going to be brutal. And I think part of that, and a lot of people don't like think about it, over the past few years, if you think about it, the Lion Gates have tended to get a little bit more brutal. Last year's Lion Gate, people were like, we're manifesting. They were happy, and then all of a sudden it was like, bam, what the heck just happened to what I was trying to bring in? I think there's a lot of energy because when it comes to astrology, when it comes to in numerology, anything like that, you have to take into consideration what has been happening beforehand and how that all just flows
Right.
together, all this energy coming to this one point. And right now, this year, it's been like even flowing from last year, such a year of uncertainty, such a time period of confusion for so many people where they're trying to get back on their feet and they're trying to figure out their way and they're still lost. And so then it's amplified by this really powerful energy in combination with everything that's flowed up to it. And now they're like, okay, now you have no choice but to look at this.
You know, and,
So,
and that's true. It's true. I think a lot of people, honestly, if you had been working on yourself prior to this Lionsgate, it's not going to affect you as hard. It really isn't because you've already started the work. This energy was not that bad for me, and it was because I was already dealing with some shadow work. I was already in the midst of working, doing some shadow work, and I was like, oh, okay, you're highlighting it. I know you're highlighting it, but I'm working it. Give me a minute. Let me catch up. I think for some people that were doing some of the work, you're going to kind of be going into the space of healing, and you're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel because you started the work. For those that didn't want to see certain things in their life, I feel like you're going to have some things that are going to be really highlighted, and it's going to be like, oh fuck, now I got to deal with this on top, like Shishi said, on top of everything else that's happening. Now I can't, it's almost like I can't unsee this. I have to deal with it.
But also, though, this is a time of ascension, of growing and manifesting, but
Yeah.
growing spiritually, growing as a person, as a whole, as a community. And there's a lot of, how do I put this? Because I was watching several different videos, and
Mm-hmm.
one of them was saying that there are people who try to stop that growth.
Oh, absolutely.
There was even, I think she said, in World War II, the atomic bomb was dropped on August the 8th on the Lion's Gate to try to close the portal to stop
Yeah.
us from ascending. And what was it just the other day? The earthquake in Haiti. There's been so much. It's not just it's not just COVID. It's a lot
Yeah.
of things. A lot of things going on.
I agree. I mean, you see a lot of planetary things that are affecting nature. You have a lot of things with people with politics. And like you say, you have some people that are very much awoke and they are trying to stop the progression of the portal being open. So you have a lot of different things that are in effect right now and that people have to deal with on top of trying to balance these energies.
Mm-hmm.
I think, going back to, oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think going back to the comment where you said, if you were working on the stuff before, then it didn't affect you as badly. In certain cases, but it depends on what you were working on. Because everybody was working on something different with their shadow.
Oh yeah. Individually, for me, you're right. I mean, I was dealing with insecurities that being in on lives and things like that I've struggled with that people don't know. And I really started getting comfortable because I've had to let go of attachments on how things need to look. So I was already struggling with these things, and Liongate kind of pushed me out there where it's like, okay, you need to go get your teeth fixed. You need to go do things that you feel uncomfortable with because it needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
It's unhealthy and it needs to be done. And it was like some things that I didn't want to see that were ugly to me, that were highlighted. So you're absolutely right. It's a very individual thing what people are going to be dealing with.
That same thing. Well, I was telling you before we started. I didn't even really want to even be on camera today. I don't know what it was, but I didn't even want to be on camera today. I didn't want to have to get dressed and everything. I just didn't want to be on camera.
So maybe we just need to make avatars for ourselves and then let them, we just talk to the avatars and mouth moving.
No,
just go like that.
We got to do the work. We got to do the work. Like Alice was saying, anyone in the spiritual community knows they should always be doing shadow work. And I think the misconception is people think that shadow work is a one-time thing. You do it and you're good. And it's not. You literally are hitting levels with shadow work. I mean, insecurities that I dealt with at 20, I don't have at 50, but I do have new insecurities because I'm on that level. I peeled back that layer and now I'm doing it. And planetary things highlight that. They highlight certain things.
I think, with everything that came out for Lionsgate, because now we're talking about the new moon, right, Lynna? Because you're asking if the new moon affected it. I think what it did was it was like, here, let me show you all the, shit that you've been hiding from. Boom. New moon. Now look, we can blossom up and glow up and change it. Yay, combination. And you're just like, that is not how I was expecting this to roll. That is not the combo and how I was expecting it to go. But now that people see this, now they're like, just like you said, okay, all right, let's get into control of this and let's see how we can figure this out and work on this. And I think most people who are doing their shadow work, and who do have their tribe, like you, Lynna, you guys are my tribe. I have other people too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's when you lean into that support and you're just like, yo, so I'm crumbling and this is what's coming up. And so it comes to that time where he's like, you need to really lean on your friends. There's no way in the world that if you were solo that you would be getting through this easily. This is definitely not a Lion's Gate that you can work through by yourself, because then you're assuming all your fears and insecurities on yourself instead of having people that are like, okay, look, I see that insecurity. Yeah. I see that fear. How can we go about and, look, this is my suggestion. Let's do this. Let's root you on. And I think that was the thing about this Lionsgate. It did pull out those insecurities, but then at the same time, for the people who were like, okay, the insecurities are there, they had to face this and say, are we going to blow up at this level and make changes, or are we going to sit here and cry about it? So the next Lionsgate, when it throws me in the pit of Hades, I'm just going to be laying there.
Absolutely.
Because your tribe is not always there to sugarcoat things for you either. They support you, but they also help you get through the next step. So sometimes, the tribe, how do I say this? The tribe's not all fluffy bunny. Sometimes it's a kick in the ass, but knowing that they're there for you as well,
Well, I think, I think the beautiful thing about this is Lionsgate is not literally about just the negative aspects of yourself that need to be healed or fixed. There's a lot of evolution and awakening. For a lot of people, there's going to be a big increase in their intuitive gifts. Clarity doesn't just come from these two eyes. That third eye is opening up, and some people, they're not only going to feel things or see things clearly, but they're going to feel things clearly, intuitively with the people around them. So there's going to be a big ascension. And it, like the guy said, if you're open to it, if you're ready for that third eye to open and to really see, you're going to see. Be careful what you wish for with it, because when you see it, you're not going to be able to unsee it. And a lot of us are going to lose friends this year because of this awakening, because we're going to look at people differently. We're going to look at situations differently. Be prepared for that.
And this is not something that's just looked at through, in the occult world. It's also very Christian. Don't the Catholics have the Feast of Transfiguration on the Lions? It's about, changing and ascending.
Well, when you look at it from, like he said, the original Syrian people passed down their knowledge and their gifts to Atlantis, the people of Atlantis. And when Atlantis was destroyed, then the knowledge went to the Egyptians, and so-called that's how the pyramids and all these great, monuments were built, because the knowledge was passed down. So there's an incredible amount of power and knowledge that comes with Lionsgate that actually elevates, that brings you to a different level. And some people, it's going to be a hard transition if you're not ready to either be open to it, or your belief system you may be conflicted with the religious and the spiritual aspect of this growth.
Mm-hmm. Now, what are the Arturians? He brought up the Arturians. What are those?
I'm not familiar with the terminology. I mean, I've heard of it, but I'm not sure. You want me to look it up? The Arturians?
I can look it up if you want me to.
Okay, yeah, because I was
like, there are various galactic energies that have played a part in the evolution and the foundation of this planet. We have a ton. There's what was it? Some group I belong to where they were talking about the reptilians and the Syrians and a lot of different aspects of planetary involvement that went really, really deep.
So it looks like the Arturians are beings of a higher intelligence, and they work more with the communication and aligning people with their true selves. It's a form of a starseed.
Okay.
Interesting.
But it's definitely an alien being. So, but that makes sense, because remember, they post on this Lionsgate, it's about speaking your truth. It's about really aligning yourself with what it is that you want.
And being open to higher knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So we always know with planetary changes, a lot of the knowledge is going to come from a galactic, there's an energy. So, and a lot of people that have problems with believing that there is life on other planets, or that these other energies do exist, a lot of them are going to have issues with this Lionsgate what would you call it? Transition? Because a lot of people are not going to, you have a lot of people that are like, I don't believe in that bullshit. Aliens come down and give you energy and give you knowledge and share this and that. But we have a lot of things in this world that exist that we have no idea how they exist.
Yeah, and then aren't we aliens to those other people? So we're aliens too. Because on one of them, I noticed that they were saying that Sirius, the star Sirius, is actually a sun in another universe, outside of our universe. But to us, it looks like a star.
Mm-hmm.
A star, but it's another sun. When it lines up, it's the sun lining up.
Yeah, I've heard that. And a lot of people, when you research it, they talk about the other universe and the other dimensions that, is attached to that. And it goes deep. It goes really, really, really deep. I mean, there's a lot that you could look and research about this that will take you way down the rabbit hole, probably more time than we have. But a lot of people that are connected, especially star seeds that are connected to this energy, 100% feel it. They feel the vibrations. I don't know if you've ever been downloaded, but I remember one time I was laying in my bed and I started vibrating all over, like electricity was going from my head to my toes, and it was going in cycles, like and it felt like somebody was turning a knob and fine tuning me. And I woke up that next morning and I knew that I had got some type of either upload or downgrade or something, because I 100% felt the energy and my intuition was off the charts that whole week. It was like I got a boost. And when I was trying to explain it to people, and they were like, "Oh no, you an alien." That's you. I mean, they were fucking with me, of course. And it was, they were like, "No, an alien came in, or you were playing with your vibrator and you were still vibrating." I mean, stupid shit. Stupid shit. But it was, I knew that on that plane there was something that was done to me or given to me that literally had to do with energy, because I felt it. I literally felt my body being tuned up, like they were trying to align me. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people who have gotten downgrades or uploads have felt the same thing.
Was it kind of like astral projecting to the Akashic Records library or something?
It wasn't. It had nothing to do with astral projection at all. It literally, like, I was laying there and I felt comfortable, and I felt like it was like cycles of electricity that were being balanced out. Now, I have had moments where I have astral projected to, like, the Akashic Records, the green tablets, that I had no idea what those were until I actually felt like I was like, okay, what is this? Where am I at? Because there was a lot of knowledge with it. But I can
It's a lot of manifestation.
remember feeling like this other thing was different. It was really different. It was literally being hit with some type of electricity.
I wonder if that's
really
like
cool.
what he was talking about, how you're going up and then you level off and you go up again and then you level off. That's the way you were receiving the knowledge, was like go up, level off. You know what I'm saying?
That's why
you said it was like different knobs turning.
That's why people, when they talk about, oh my God, my life is turned upside down, I'm discombobulated, I'm confused, I can't sleep, my body's hurting. When you're going through spiritual growth and you're getting that next level, you literally feel like you're losing everything because you're about to level up. So everything that no longer is on that vibration falls away. People lose their job, their relationships break up. There's health issues that come to light. People find out, oh, I have to lose weight because I have a health issue, because they're saying we need your body to be in a better position to take this energy on. We need your heart to be in a better position so that we can bring the right love to you. We need you to let go of this dead end job so that you can get this new job that's coming in. And for people that get very attached to the material or the physical, it's hard. Nobody wants to get fired. Nobody wants their relationship to break up. Nobody wants to have to deal with a health issue. But spirit is like, you have to deal with this to level up. And it is. Spiritual growth can be brutal. Oh my God, it can be brutal. Sometimes you lose everything.
Like, I know a lot of people, when they got to their Kundalini awakening, one lady was paralyzed. And everybody's like, oh my God, we think we had our Kundalini awakening. I was like, if you had your Kundalini awakening, you would know, because you would be going berserk. It is not a fun time. It can affect your health. It's like everything is falling away. You feel like, you feel like, isn't it Job in the Bible who lost everything? His kids, his wife, his farm. That's what you feel like.
That's a spiritual, that's a spiritual awakening. It is. When I had my Kundalini awakening, I burned for a month. When I tell you my body was on fire for a month, it was the most uncomfortable thing. And it happened during a sexual experience. I don't know what this man touched or tapped, but he even said it. He said, something happened. I am burning up. My heart is palpitating, and this is lasting for a long time. We thought, Lord have mercy, we don't killed each other. but it was a very weird experience. And I can't say it took a while before that energy balanced out. It was so uncomfortable. I kept going to the doctor because I literally thought something was wrong with me, and they found nothing wrong with me other than elevated temperature. So Shishi's right. It
Yeah.
is not the most
Not fun.
pleasant experience.
But a lot of people, they tend to romanticize things. Just like, last week you guys talked about the twin flames and soulmates. There's so many things that are romanticized. People are like, oh, we went through our Kundalini awakening and it's like a snake going down your back. And you're like, dude, it's not fun. This is some crap that, if anything, you might be like, I
True.
don't know if I want that. But it's a lot of energy. And when you are, like you said, you're being downloaded, for me, it happens. I didn't vibrate. I just felt like I blacked out. And
Mm.
then I came back to, and I was like, what just happened? I literally felt like somebody just me in my head, knocked me out. Then I woke up, and then I was like, and everything just for me seemed brighter. I felt like I was seeing energy. I was like touching it. I could feel it. But
Right.
I mean, it's just a different feeling. And I think it's different according to everybody's spiritual awakening is going to be different. Some people are like, oh, well, I want to be downloaded like Tonya and vibrate and then have an orgasm and then be hot for a month. I'm like, but that
Well, I
might
didn't
not
have
be
an
the way.
orgasm. That would have been the cherry on top. But that didn't. I mean, all I did was vibrate. I wish I would have had an
Like,
orgasm. I mean, but like
but
you say, some people may that may be their spiritual growth. I don't know. I mean, hell, I'm all for that.
But what's interesting is though when we're downloaded, which is what I was gonna say, everybody gets downloaded differently. And I think this is
Yeah.
what when you're looking at Lionsgate and when you're looking at all this energy around, people are like, well, Tanya's intuition just boosted up. So that should be what happens with my awakening. And that may not be what happens with your awakening.
Yeah.
That may not be what happens with your
Absolutely.
elevation. Like for me, it was definitely energy and seeing energy and moving it and touching it and being able to manipulate energy.
Right.
But for some other people, theirs was definitely more intuition, seeing more spirit. And so I think it depends. Usually that download is where you're at that moment when they're like, oh, you passed this point and
Say it
boom.
again. Say it again. Say that. Repeat that. Say that one more time.
That download is dependent upon where you are at that moment.
Because people get confused with that. Even though we are a collective and people feel like if one thing happens to the other person, it is going to happen to me. But this is so valuable. When we do Friday readings and people are like, well, I don't understand why this other person picks up on the card so well and I don't. I don't understand why this person can hear angel music and I can't. I don't understand why this person can see auras and I can't. You're not at that level. You're going to get gifts at different levels because there's something that you need to do with those gifts at that particular time. If you're not ready for it, it's not coming. You can't force spirit. And people get confused with that.
And
But at the
Because
same time,
we're
go
all
ahead, sorry.
individual, so you've got to stop saying can't and say what you can do. I can do this,
and
and
it's important.
do that, and she can do that, and none of it's the same thing, and we're all fantastic.
I mean,
It's
everyone has their different gifts. I mean, like you have your gifts. Like you see, you're probably now at this point because you probably see more dead people than I see right now because I'm over here doing this new thing that came into my life, and I'm like, okay, let me play with this and learn this right now. Lynna is always going to be excellent cards. That will never change in our whole world. She is the card leader of the universe.
right.
You're not gonna be
Right.
able to, really compete with Lynna because that's Lynna's, thing, and that's where she's
Everybody
upgrading.
brings something different to the table because there's different places in this world that need to be healed, and we all have a purpose, and all of us do not have that same purpose. Munchie Cheese says, I don't feel like I have ever really been downloaded.
Well,
Bullshit.
it's
You
different.
come up with
Everyone has.
20 different ideas for a business during a week. Those don't just come from you. All these 25 ideas that you have about starting a business are your download. That's what's been given to you from spirit. It may not be that you have a spiritual gift. You may have a business gift. These people that Spirit downloaded to learn how to build the pyramids, maybe they didn't have an intuitive thing where they could talk to the dead, but they knew how to build pyramids. They knew how to put things together. That's what I'm saying. We all come in here with purposes, different purposes, and our gifts and our talents are awakened for that purpose. Not everybody's going to be like Shishi said. Not everybody's going to be a high class medium. I don't really practice my mediumship because I don't really feel drawn to it strongly. She's more of a natural medium where the spirits do come to her, and I'm like, okay, cool. I don't want to do it. Let's send it her way because that's her purpose. That's her purpose. My purpose is completely different because I don't feel led to it. I will do it if Spirit asks me and then give me a message. But most of the time, I tell everybody go to her because that is what her purpose is. It's part of her purpose. So we have to acknowledge that and understand that everything is for us. We're not supposed to be in everything.
I wanted to say too, though, going back to what you said about how people will say one reader said this, another reader said that, and another reader said that. Honestly, I feel like people are getting the same readings, and when they get it from a different reader, just because the reader doesn't say the exact same words, it's still the same message. Spirit's trying to tell you in all kinds of different ways, because if you are getting that same reading from different people, you're obviously not listening to Spirit's message. So they have to tell you in a different way. But it's still the same message.
I mean, it could be. It could be. I think for a lot of people, if you're looking for a particular message, every reading is going to lead to that. If you're desperate, and we've been there. When I was going through my divorce, I wanted all the readers to tell me that my husband and I were going to work things out. I didn't want to hear anything different. And no matter what they said, I heard what I wanted to hear. That wasn't necessarily readers. That was me. Because I was desperate. I wanted my marriage to work out. So I don't know. I think when people get in, and there have been a lot of people that we all read for, that they'll come back and they'll say, well, Lynna said this and she said that. And I'll be like, well, shit, I'm going to tell you the same thing and I'm not going to refund you because you've already gotten the message.
That's what I'm saying. It's the same message.
Yeah.
Even if we say it differently, it's the same message because Spirit's still saying, it's come from Spirit. It don't come from me. It don't come from you. It don't come from you. It comes from Spirit. Even though our words are different, it's still the same message. So to say that Shishi said this or Tonya said this or Lynna said that, listen to what we're actually saying and get the message.
My thing is two things about that is like sometimes they are the same message, and then there's not, because there's sometimes where different spirits come in and give someone else information that wasn't given to one reader.
Yeah, that could happen.
I think the weirdest thing is me and a colleague, we read the same woman multiple times, and she was like, oh, my husband, oh, my husband, oh, my husband. And then finally, one day I sat down and the spirit walked in with her and was like, she's killing her husband. She's poisoning him. Wow. And I was like, oh, well, that's not.
That's a different spin.
Not cool.
That's a different message.
It's a different story. And so I'm sitting here looking at this woman who everybody's like, she's the sweetest thing ever, and she takes care of her husband, and she's killing the man, poisoning him slowly. So sometimes different spirits step in when they're like, let me give you a new level of what's actually happening. Sometimes, like, if you've been at a misa, when, all the mediums are there to give you the message from all the different spirits, sometimes everyone's seeing the same spirit, but the spirit doesn't want to talk to certain mediums.
I've seen that.
There's that. But then also, when we're doing readings, that's one of so many paths. And like, we as readers, we can say, all right, well, right now, this is what it looks like. But if you choose to do this, it's going to go this way.
Yeah.
It's free will, whatever you choose to do.
Free will always trumps the reading. Free will
trumps the reading. Trump a reading. But then
People,
sometimes, because we're empathic, we're also picking up on the energy that's coming into that reading. So if someone comes in a really horrible, desperate state, then it kind of limits the paths that that person brings to the table, because they're only seeing this way, because that was their free will saying, this is the way I'm going to do it and no other path is going to be possible. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think honestly, like Lynna was saying, you can hear the message 3 or 4 times, but if you are in a state of, despair, and let's be honest, most people don't come get readings when everything is going perfect in their life. They come get readings when they are going through something and they want an answer because they need clarity. Most people don't realize the people that go get readings, you get readings because you're already intuitive. You're already psychic because you're already picking up on the energy and the message. You don't want to hear the story. You want to connect with. You want somebody to connect with the energy to confirm
Right.
or not confirm what you already feel. Because most people that get readings are very gifted. Their intuition already tells them what they want to know. They just want somebody to say yay or nay.
Right. But also, when you get a reading, what we can tell you is what we see, as long as you're on the same path you're on. And that's good, because if you don't want to be on that path, now you can figure out options and use your free will to get off of that path.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can't call me up. I've had a client, he drove me crazy. Every time he'd make a financial move, he'd call me up. Should I do this? Should I do that? And finally I had to block him, because I can't be making every financial decision in your life. I don't want to be responsible for that. You have to take your own steps.
It goes back to the beginning of Lionsgate, where people are getting clear vision. Their
Mhm.
third eye is opening. And some people are going to have issues with that because they're not going to want to see what is right in front of them.
Yeah.
And that's where some of them do get involved with going from reader to reader to reader, because they're looking for clarity that is already there. Now, for those that are trying to open their third eye, they're like, okay, cool. I can see auras. I can see, I'm looking at people and I can read, their mind. Telepathy is there. You're prepared for that energy because you're putting yourself in alignment with it. But those that are not putting themselves in alignment with it and it opens up, that could be very scary when
Yeah.
you're not ready for your gifts or for something to your third eye to open up. I remember when mine first opened up, for a whole month, it felt like a little person was sitting on my forehead. And I kept doing this at night. I kept like rubbing my forehead because it felt heavy. It felt like there was a pressure on it. And I mean, I would have a little red spot because I would rub it so much. And then one day it was like things just changed.
Mhm.
Things changed for me, and the pressure was gone. My head felt clear, and it was like I didn't ask for it to open, but it did open. And it was because I was becoming more spiritual. In spirit, I started hearing them wrap your head. Then I started wrapping my head, you know, cut away from these people. And I started cutting away from these people. But it was because I was already starting to walk that path. For a person who's not, that spiritual awakening can be very, very intense. And Lionsgate, this particular time was intense.
Well, and I'll say too that even if you are prepared, sometimes it's still scary.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you are prepared, when you start receiving the downloads and stuff, it still can be
Yeah.
very scary. I didn't have vibration. Mine was when I lay down at night to go to bed, between being awake and asleep, before I fell asleep, I wasn't really awake. I would get these flashes, and they were horrible. It would be like monster, what people would call monsters. It would be just horrible images, and it was just flash after flash after flash after flash, and that can be very scary. So even if you are prepared, it can still be overwhelming and not comfortable.
Exactly. I think I mean, in reality, most of the time when your gifts open up that first time, you're never really prepared. You're just, it's impossible because you don't know when it's going to open up. It's kind of like you're walking around and boom, it just
Mm-hmm.
happens. For me, it happened because my friend died. Like I had the gifts, but I was at the time I was little, and my family, they were talking about all the ghosts they had seen and how like the ghosts were sitting on their bike and they pedaled home and all this crazy stuff. And I just remember saying, "Dear God, I don't want to see a ghost because if I see a ghost, I'm going to die. And if you say you love me, you don't want me to die of a heart attack at a young age because that would not be nice." And I was a little girl and I remember where I was sitting. I remember being by my grandma's TV and saying, because God, that's not the right thing to do to little kids. It's kill them because they see ghosts. And then when my friend died, that was when it, boom, all opened up. And I did not expect that. I didn't expect it at all. And I didn't know what was happening. I was just like, okay, something's different. Like the colors seemed different. The energy seemed different. I was feeling things that I had never felt in my house before. And then it clicked to me. Oh. Then I looked up and I remember looking up at the sky and I was like, fine, God, fine. And then just left it, be what it was. But I think on some level, even if we were on the spiritual path, even when we grow up and we're around the spiritual family, when those gifts open up, because we don't exactly know when they're going to open up, and even though you're honing and you're building and someone's mentoring you for it, when it actually opens up, it's just unexpected, and I don't think anyone can be prepared for it. That's my take on it.
I will agree. I think honestly, though, as humans, we have to understand that we are on this planet to evolve. We're not born here to stay the same. We're not born here to be at that same level. There is elevation, which means whether this is spiritual, physical, or, emotional, we're supposed to grow and learn lessons in life. And a lot of us aren't prepared for any lesson. Let's be honest. The first time I had my heart broken, I wasn't prepared for that lesson. The first time that I lost a job, I wasn't prepared for that lesson. But what it did was it caused me to gain some knowledge and some wisdom and to grow stronger so that when it happened again, I was like, oh, hell, I've done this. I've been through this. I've elevated from this place. I'm not going to sit and eat a gallon of ice cream because a guy broke up with me like I did the first time. Now I'm going to go shopping. I'm going to do something different. That's what we do. But we are here to elevate. Whether you are growing spiritually, I will tell people be open. You're not born here to be stagnant. If you're still doing the same shit that you did 20 years ago, you're holding yourself hostage. You're not allowing your evolution to take place. I have friends that wear the same hairstyle that they wore back in 1976, looking like Farrah Fawcett. We're in 2021. I mean, I get it may come back around, but we got to elevate. We have to grow. And if that's spiritually, it's because there's a need for it. Spirit is not coming in attacking us because they just want to make us miserable. They're coming in and they're growing. They're giving us growth because we need it. We've outgrown a situation. We have to move forward.
Yeah, and no pain, no gain. There's always going to be growing pains. And with the Farrah Fawcett thing, bell bottoms are back. Why can't we have feathered hair?
Girl, and I got me some cute ass bell bottoms too, but you didn't see me wearing them last year because they went in style last year. But I get it. But we have to grow. If we are on the same mindset that we were 20 years ago, if I still thought the way I did at 20, I would be fucked. I would be fucked because I'm 53 years old.
A lot. I didn't say that.
But here's the thing. A lot of things that I didn't take advantage of in my 20s that I look back on, I was like, damn, Spirit brought all these opportunities my way. And because I was insecure and I had low self-esteem and I was very timid and scared of the world, I didn't take advantage of these things. Now at 53, I physically can't do some of these things. You know, some of these things my body will not allow me to do. And it's like, but now I have new opportunities. So I have to understand that when at this point, when spirit gives me an opening or opens that door for me to grow and to be stronger, I want to go ahead and do it. And if it opens up my intuition, if it helps me to see auras, if it helps me to read people better, I'm all for it. But you got to understand that we have to grow. We have to. We can't be stagnant. We can't. We're not here to be that. How are you going to come back? Or you elevate, you know, reincarnation, the premise of that is that we come here, we learn all these great lessons, and then we take it back, and our soul is evolved so that you don't have to go back and do some of the same shit again, right? But if we don't do the lessons, and if we don't go through the karmic, or we don't learn it, we got to repeat the shit, which I think is really fucked up. But I mean, you know, people tend to kind of, you know, be like, damn it, I got to come back and do this shit again.
I'm not coming back. And if any of you jokers push that damn button when I'm about to walk through that gate, y'all coming back with me. So when I fall down, I'm thinking your asses too. I'm not coming back. Okay? Just letting y'all know.
Watch her ass be back. She gonna be named Shaniqua the next lifetime, but we're gonna see her light.
If I did have to come back, I used to want to come back as the Pope, so I had my own wardrobe, but not anymore. I don't want to be the Pope anymore. But I am coming back as a well-endowed man who's super fine with a lot of money. That I'm coming back as. If I had to come back. But as I have no intention of coming back, I'm good. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, if y'all push that button, I come back. And when I'm that well-endowed man, I'm boinking everybody. All y'all getting get.
You ain't bunking me. You because I'm gonna be a man too. Well, we might be bunking each other. We're gonna be two well-endowed handsome men. We're gonna be gay as fuck. Because I'm coming back as a man too, with a big dick.
I'm coming back as Shanae.
Well, you're gonna get
Not
boinked.
Shanae. You know what?
You're gonna get boinked.
You getting boinked. You getting boinked. Shanae, Shaniqua, Tonya, Bootsy, whatever. You getting boinked. If you push that button, you getting boinked.
We need to address, why do we think a man with a big dick is in a better position than coming back as a female?
Because I just want to come back as the opposite. I've been the female before. So now I want to come back well endowed. I want to pee in snow and spell my name out. I want to walk up to somebody who's talking smack and pop them in the head with my keys. I just want to do some weird stuff, okay? There's just some things that maybe I want to try. But you know what? Should I be up in there, I'm going to ask for a preview to see which gender is the ruling gender that time. And if women rule the world, I'd be like, just send me back with a vagina. But if men are still acting crazy, I'd be like, send me back with a penis.
Well, you know, if they send me back with a penis, I'm gonna do the little helicopter thing that the men be doing, because I am fascinated about. I'm gonna do that. If I come back with a penis, I want to see how does it hurt when they spin it. I mean, we don't just got all off track, but I honestly, that would be something I really would be into. I got to be honest. I have to be honest.
Well, you know, he had to be limp when he was doing that. Because I just don't. Go ahead.
I just want to know, for me, what makes them think with it so much? Like, how is that their ruling head on their body? I guess that's my true curiosity. Like, what is it that's like, that points you? Like, I mean, because when they go through puberty, they're losing their mind, all these emotions and all the hormones. Then when they're 20s, they're like, we gotta have sex, we gotta have sex. I just want to know, like,
because that shit feels good. It feels good. You got women that think with their vaginas too. It's not just men. You have women out there that literally have sex with people because it feels good. That's why they do it. Why would you do it if it didn't feel good?
Because some people let that be the ruling factor that rinses out common sense and logic.
there's an immaturity there with that. There's an issue with that, because if you are of a certain age and you cannot control your privates, there's a certain immaturity with that. And that goes with a lot of different things that we all have had moments where we've done something really stupid as adults because there was an immaturity in that decision. I know I have, and I'd be like, what the, after the fact, it's like, what the fuck was you thinking? I wasn't. You got to be honest about that. You know, the intuitive side of me sometimes is like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, and then I go do it, and spirit is like, what the fuck, Tonya?
That's me. Sometimes I feel like they're like, you sure you want to do that? And I'm like, but I'm skipping, and I see myself as a little girl with some cute shoes, just skipping in my little dress, just running out the way, and I'm like, yay, time to go do something otherwise. And then I'm all mad. I'm like, why? Why, Shishi? Why? We
Alice
have our
says,
moments.
we all do. Alice says, I just want to pass the test I need to pass in this lifetime. So here's the thing. I don't necessarily feel like spirit sets us up to pass tests. I feel like we all have a purpose. I feel like we all walk a certain path because there's something that we're supposed to do. You meet the people in your life because there's a service or something that needs to happen with these people. And once you do that service, then you move on. How many of us have had friendships where it was you came together to do something, to accomplish something, and then after you did it, the friendship was over, the job was over, or because you came in with the purpose to connect with this person, do what you were supposed to do, and then you move on. So I don't think it's so much test. I think there's purposes that we have to do. It's just like check off lists that, oh yeah, you were supposed to meet Shishi and do this and be there for her. You were supposed to go pick Lynna up on the side of the road and be there for her. And once you do it, that's the end of it.
Yeah, some friendships are only made for a season or a chapter in your book, but they're not the whole book. Now, we do have friendships that last throughout the whole book, but I would say most of them are just chapters.
It probably goes back to spiritual connections, like we saw last week. There's some people that maybe your purpose is to walk with that spiritual companion and do something, just like we said, twin flames come together to make a colossal change in the world, not to sit on the couch and Netflix and chill. They come together to cause some big catalyst in the world. We all have purpose, definitely so. Lionsgate this time, I think, is going to show a lot of people what their path is and what their purpose is, if they're honest with themselves. Some people are going to be scared to walk the path because it may take them in a different direction from the spiritual path they thought they were going on. Some people that are in the church may find out that you're going to get into an ATR. Some people in the ATR are going to go back into the church because the ATR is slimy, or it's maybe not what they thought it was. But whatever it is, there's going to be clear vision. I guarantee it. I feel like there's going to be a lot of clear vision with this one.
Munchie Cheese It's Nika's saying a big penis man is in a better position, but I guess it depends on your outlook. Is he really? Because is a big penis man gonna bounce from one woman to the next, to the next, to the next, and never settle down? Or is he only going to be with one and settle down and have a steady relationship? Oh yeah, and I agree. He is limp. He's got to be limp to be doing helicopter.
I don't know if a well-endowed man has to jump from person to person to person. I think it depends on how well endowed he is, because some guys, they're too well endowed, and there's no way in the world that people are going to be playing with it. But B, that's a character thing. You have some men with small dongs just running around like, you want to boink, you want to boink, you want to boink, look like little limp chihuahuas, just trying to pass it out like butterscotch candy, and don't got anything to show for it. So I think in the end, well-endowed men are in a better position because yeah, maybe they can hit different spots sexually. But then, as far as are they going to bounce from woman to woman to woman, that's a character thing. That has nothing to do with the size of the penis. And I'm with Alyssa as well. Just because they big doesn't mean they know how to use it. But just so y'all know,
That's
when
true.
I come back, y'all push that button, I'm going to know how to use mine. Just let everybody know.
Right. It is
Everybody
perception. It definitely is perception. And it's like with any gift, you can be as gifted as all outdoors. If you don't know how to use it, it's not going to be right. You can be very intuitive, but if you don't listen to your intuition, you're not going to get the same messages. You're not going to hear spirit the same way because there's a part of you that's closed off. Even with a woman with a vagina or a man with a big penis, if there is no connection to that, if they don't know what they're doing with it, if there's no point in having it. There's no point in having it. So like she said, if she's going to come back with it, know how to use it. But I think with any gift, if you are gifted or talented with something, you owe it to yourself to put the time and energy into expanding and getting the best out of that gift, whether it's with a big dick, into intuition, psychic abilities, mediumship, spiritual gifts, whatever it is. If you don't use it in this lifetime, what the fuck is it? It's a waste, like Elisa's saying. It's a waste.
I see when Shishi comes back, you know what I see? That erotic deck you have, Tonya? The man, he's like a pan, but he's running around with his penis like this. Show us the card so they'll know what I'm talking about. Because this is Shishi when she comes back.
Is it the Decameron tarot that you're talking about? Nah, not that one. I'm coming back. Like, you know how like they have those decks that are drawn by like the gay artists and the guys are like luscious? I'm coming back like that. Not that. Mm-mm. Just so y'all know.
Let me see what your card is. What would Shishi come back, Spirit? What would Shishi come back as? What is her card?
Oh no, I'm gonna come back as a cup. Stop trying to pull.
I want to see. I'm nosy. What is she coming back as, Spirit?
Do all three of us, Tonya. I mean, not together, but do all three of us.
You ain't coming back swinging no dick. You coming back being in love and in a relationship.
Nope.
That is your energy. That is your energy.
I'm coming back as Don Juan. That's Don Juan right there.
Well, Don Juan is kissing like he in love. So let's see what Lynna is coming back with.
That's what Don Juan did. Everybody wanted him because he made them feel like he was in love.
What is Lynna coming back as, Spirit? Let's see. All right. Oh.
Please don't be the woman with the legs spread open. Okay.
No, we got Ace of Cups. We still got a person that wants love. That is, so you're not coming back as a whole either. This is somebody who wants a relationship, a commitment. Oh, I can't wait to see what I'm coming back as. Hold up, y'all. Hold up.
Now watch me get the hoe card. I'd be like, yeah.
What am I coming back as, Spirit? What is my energy in my next life? Oh, wait a minute. I'm coming back as the child where I'm a hot mess. Ooh, I'm going to be hoeing, but they're going to be trying to beat my ass. Oh
Shay says she's coming back as a rich, dark-skinned Belizean man with a 10-foot pole, and she's going to know how to work it, and she's going to sow her royal oats. And then Alyssa said you're coming back as Dick Timber.
It's so interesting that all of us want to come back as a male, as empowered females in this lifetime. That's very telling. There is something, we've either been conditioned by society to think that men have it better, or there is, our perception is that men are going to have a better, like you said, it depends on what the energy is in our next lifetime. Are women more empowered, or are men more empowered? Because that definitely will affect if you want to come back as a male or a female. But in this lifetime, because we see males with power, that's what we acclimate to right now, because we're all saying that we want to come back with this because we feel like it's going to be powerful. But shit, what if women are empowered next lifetime?
Then I'm coming back
as a man with an empowered woman.
Nope, I'm coming back
Oh,
as
as
a
a
woman
woman?
with a big penis. And it's like, no, I'm coming back just as a woman.
Well, shit. I mean, hell,
Morphodite.
I
Just
was gonna say hermaphrodite. We could definitely work that out.
The best of
Shit.
both
That might.
worlds. Oops. Yeah, just
Yes.
look
It's
it up.
interesting though. It is interesting that our perception is that men have it better in this lifetime. I mean, but of course, we already know that it is a man's world. But women are definitely more empowered at this time. And I think a lot of women with this Lionsgate energy are going to realize that some of these dead end relationships and I'm not talking about just romantic. I'm talking about family. I'm talking about friendship. I'm talking about things that take your power away from you are going to be highlighted to where you actually step out. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people asserting themselves because we've seen it. Even on YouTube, they're talking about it. People are going to be asserting themselves in a way that is more genuine to them, that feels better. That feels better. So it should be interesting to see the energy in towards the end of this month because I know they said that it's from July to August 12th, but some people are saying that the energy lingers on until the end of this month. I want to hear stories about what this Lionsgate did for you at
Well,
the end of the month.
and also you got to think about it too. Is just we surged on the 8th, so we're still gonna whatever happened. We still have to deal with the fallout of that.
Well, I've already started letting people go, and people have started letting me go, and I'm definitely walking a different spiritual path. So I will say that energy definitely worked for me. I cut away a lot of dead weight,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of energy that was not productive for me, and I feel lighter going into it. But I had to really look at myself and then look at the people and cut ties on things that were no longer um,
That
working.
that no longer serve you.
It
Yeah.
no longer served me, and it was painful. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the people that I'm walking away from, it's very, very painful. But I feel like my journey has taken me a different way that these people couldn't go,
You become
and
more enlightened.
that's part of my evolution.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of you. A lot of you gonna see that as you grow spiritually, you're gonna lose a lot of people because there's going to be certain aspects of them that just will not vibrate with you anymore, and it just will not go your path, and it hurts for a lot of people. I've seen people that had friendships 20 years that had to walk away from that because the person it was a fork in the road and they both went two different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So
Life happens. You know.
yeah, let's see. Deshay, it brought a lot of shit out and removed someone who was against my goals. Yeah.
I think
But I don't really feel like it's always a loss either, because if they no longer serve a purpose in your life, it's like the chicken pox. You don't cry when you get rid of the chicken pox.
I think if you have an emotional attachment, it does hurt. I mean, for some people, yeah, it may be like, okay, this was a work friend, or this is somebody on Facebook that unfriended me or whatever. But when you have an emotional attachment to people,
But
it definitely is a little bit harder.
I guess what I'm saying is you can't look at it as you don't lose part of yourself. It's a loss, but
Mm,
it's a loss outside of yourself. You
I
mm.
think like I don't look
you
at things like that no longer serve my purpose. Like I have not been able to look at people as though, oh, they no longer serve my purpose, because I don't look at people as though they have a purpose or that they're on a plate with something to do. As I've gotten older, in certain cases, I just look at people. I'm like, okay, this is what they're doing, and this is what I'm doing. It doesn't mean that in the future we won't meet up. It doesn't mean that I'm cutting them away. The only time I've cut people away is when they were purposely trying to hurt me. But if they were just going to do their own thing or they were going through something, I'm like, okay, I'm going to give them their space to go through something. But I've rarely just cut people off because we're at different points in our life. Because I don't know that I look at things as no longer serving a purpose, or maybe certain actions that I may do as no longer serving a purpose. But as for people, if I say that they no longer serve a purpose, then that means that I only needed them for something. And I'm not one of those people that I'm like, I need you for this. And that's what you're here for. I just look at it like, for example, like you changed something spiritually. I've changed something spiritually. Do I feel like I'm going to walk away from you because we changed something spiritually? No. I just look at it like we're growing in two different ways, but it doesn't mean that I have to cut you off because, we're at a different spiritual point in our life. Or if someone, like I said, is going through something and they're having a tough time, I'm like, cool, they're going through something, they're having a tough time. I'm here if they need me. But their purpose is not to serve me. Their purpose is they have their own purpose. I have my own purpose. And I kind of just put in my head, this is what they're doing, this is what I'm doing. But I'm not going to cut them off because of something they're going through unless they purposely did something to try to cause me harm, damage me, or prevent me from walking on my path. But that's just my take.
That makes sense because I think, I'm sorry, Lynna, but I'll say it real quick and then I'll mute. It makes sense because, like you said, people do walk different paths. But my thing is, the only reason that I would cut people away is if they got in my way. If they limited my growth or my evolution, you gone. If you're not, you don't have to walk the path with me. But if you start putting obstacles in my path, I am Queen of Swords. You're gone. And I don't look back. And I think people have to, you brought up a valid point. You have to realize, is this person doing this because they're trying to cause an obstacle in your life? Or is this just that you are outgrowing this person and you're walking different paths? It's a good way to look at it.
And what I was going to say was too, it's not really like you're here to go shopping for me, or you're here to feed me, or you're here to pay my bills. That's not the purpose I'm talking about. The purpose is like support. If they are toxic people and they are constantly going on and on and on, and it fucks with you mentally, it is time to cut them off. Whether they did something to you directly or not, they no longer serve your purpose because they are causing chaos in your world, intentionally or unintentionally. Sometimes you gotta. She cuts because she's a sword. I'm a Leo. I just wash my hands and walk away. I'm done. If you can't serve my purpose as being someone who is in my tribe that supports me, I'm not saying you have to agree with me all the time, but if you're going to bring me down and be negative constantly, then no, you no longer belong in my circle.
Well, here's the thing. Shishi's a Queen of Swords too. And this is two different aspects of Queen of Swords, because even though I am an empath, she does have a lot more compassion and empathy for me than me. She does. She's a Queen of Swords with more of a heart. So we're on two different aspects of it. And I'm not going to say I don't have a heart, but I'm definitely a lot harder than she is. I don't know if it's maybe because of my age or the way I look at things, but she is a Queen of Swords. So if she does decide to cut somebody, it's done, because that's how air signs are. We can be very understanding. We can be very empathetic. We can be very compassionate. And a lot of times air signs look for love. They look for companionships. We're not the easiest people to love, because a lot of times we have to learn to become a companion to people, to be soft. She's soft compared to me. She really is. But I get what she's saying.
But what the hell am I then as a Leo? King of the lovers, but I will turn around and attack you and eat you?
You're actually, when it comes to being a Leo, you're actually softer too. But I have seen you like, no, I'm not going to fuck with people. But you will still do nice things for people because the kindness of your heart. So
like make
it
really
goes
nice
back
fluffy squares.
yeah, but it goes back to how somebody crosses you. Like you said, if they come in and whether they intended to hurt you or not, there's a respect level with people in relationships. When a person crosses that boundary and it cannot be repaired, it's a done deal. No matter how you feel, it's a done deal, because no respect, there's no relationship. If you disrespected me as a friend and I felt that pain of I can't trust you, it would be hard to bring something back together. But it just depends, because there's so many different ways to connect spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. Which one is your deal breaker? Or are all of them your deal breaker?
It depends on the moment, probably.
My thing is, like, what I learned this Lionsgate, which you guys know my situation, my tribe knows my situation. What I discovered, and because I had to sit down and go through a lot of meditation, go through a lot of stuff. And I even posted, like, driving my friends crazy. I drive Tanya up the wall, and I'm just like, okay, Tanya, just give me like 3 more days, and then I won't drive you up the wall anymore, because now I'm coming up with a plan, right? But the thing is, what I discovered is what we, like, when, like, if you look at people's negativity or you look how they affect you, we allow them to affect us. Because we can look at somebody and say, okay, they're going through something right now. And I mean, and like Tanya said, she's an air sign as well. But Tanya is definitely more cutthroat. Like, it's the same as Angela, more cutthroat than I am. Like, boom. And I'm like, was it really that necessary to cut them off? Because they could be going through A, B, C, D, E, F. And she'd be like, I'm like, because there was probably a lot more to that than, what meets the eye. But you have to allow someone who is not purposely trying to affect you. And a lot of the times, what I'm discovering as well is, it is true. Hurt people hurt people. People who are lost, they hurt people not purposely. And that's why I'm like, they're not here. Like, my purpose is my purpose. My purpose for me is to help people elevate, help them grow, show them love, even in my pain, to exude love, because I don't know what someone's going through. But what their purpose is may not be the same as my purpose, which is why I'm like, did they serve their purpose with me? I don't know. Maybe their purpose was something completely different. So I guess toxicity for me, when I look at toxicity, I have different, I know all the psychological and everything terms of the toxicity and all the labels that go through it, that, we apply to certain things. But then when I see people, when you can look, and as an empath, as a reader, as diviners, we see things that a lot of other people don't see. And so sometimes we have to take a step back and be like, okay, show me with the different eyes, not with these that we're looking at. And you'll see that a lot of the people that are like upset or seem negative, it's because they can't find their way out of the darkness themselves. So they're just as lost as someone who's dropped off in a town where they can't read the language. And so sometimes, like, when I'm looking at things, I don't ask, okay, just, oh, someone's this way and that's just the end of it. I'm like, okay, there's something more to the story than what's being shown. But that's just me. And she's right. When I finally do decide to cut someone off and I'm like, I can't deal with it anymore, they have literally run a gamut. They have had 52 Olympics. They have had a lot. And then when I cut them off, I'm like, well, at this point, you've done something purposely to me. But if you're over there living your own life, having a whole fallout, that's on you. That doesn't have to affect me that way.
I think, I'm sorry, babe. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was looking at Tip. Some people are just draining, but we have to allow them to drain us. It's like when people are like, we're gonna not follow, we're not gonna be Facebook friends with them anymore, and that's it. You can unfollow people that are getting on your nerves at a moment. Just be like, okay, that might be too much. Let me unfollow you, clear up my Facebook feed, get this energy going, and then bring it back.
Right.
So there's so many different aspects in it which we take.
Well, here's the thing. People can't use you unless you allow them to use you. Now, me personally, I don't want to be drained. I got other shit that I'd rather do than sit up there and, let somebody drain me. And I won't do it. I'll go to a certain level with you, with anybody, until I reach my point. It's my boundaries. My boundaries are very set in stone, because that gives me peace. That's my sacred space. And I think everybody needs to have that. I think you help people as far as your boundary will allow you, and then you cut because you're not going to do, we're not on the Titanic. I'm not going down with you because you're going down. I'm not going to do it. I got a life preserver. I know how to use it. And I think people, when we, as spiritual people, with downgrades and upgrades and line gate energy and other energies that come in, we have to understand how to manipulate these energies in a way that is healthy for us. It doesn't become about anybody else at that situation, because you can't save people that don't want to be saved. I mean, I don't have a college degree with counseling and therapy. That's not what I do. I will be here to help. I will be here to understand as much as I possibly can, and I will help as much as spirit will allow me to. But when we reach that boundary, I'm not going to drown with you. I
Yeah.
used to do that. I used to martyr myself for people when I was younger. Oh my God, let me fall on the sword so you don't have to fall on the sword, because I'm going to take your pain. And I will see them motherfuckers see me on the ground bleeding, and they would just keep walking. They wouldn't even reciprocating the help. So spirit was like, you're being goddamn stupid. You have to stop doing it. You cannot save everybody. There's nothing wrong with being there for people as spiritual people. I'm a mambo. I do a lot of things for people, but I will not sacrifice myself for people. I will not. Spirit hasn't asked me to do that. So
Right.
if I choose to do that, that would be on me. My boundaries are self-preservation. I will love you. I will help you the best way I can. But spiritually, I have to preserve who I am, where I am at this life. And that's not selfish. People get confused with that self-love and self-help and all that. People are like, oh, you're they manipulate. You're so wrong. You know, God wants you to do this. Spirit wants you to do this for me. No. They gave me a free mind here,
Mm-hmm.
free thinking, so I can help you as far as I'm willing to help you. But when we hit that boundary, you're on your own, because there's a lot of energy vampires out there. A lot of them don't mean any harm, but there's a lot that do. So you owe it to yourself to have your boundaries set. And with these alignments, they're coming in because they're trying to align us. They're not trying to hurt us. They're trying to get us in alignment for our lives so that life moves smoothly for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Get us to a higher level.
and take you to a higher level. And you can't do that when you're carrying 15 people on your back. You
Exactly.
just can't. You can't do it. So it's a beautiful thing to be connected to spirit and to be connected to energy and to be connected to the collective. But at the end of the day, you have to watch your spiritual growth for you. Your path is an individual thing. It really is. You're going to have some people that will not walk it with you all the way through, and that's okay. They're not supposed to, but you can't sacrifice and martyr yourself for people.
Exactly. Because if you're so weighed down and being walked on by other people and keep doing, you're not really helping other people, because you can't help yourself. How can you help someone else? You're already too weighed down, so you can't give them the energy that they need or deserve at the time. That I'm speaking about the person who actually needs your help.
Well,
Well, I
she
feel like,
okay, go ahead. I'm
go
gonna let
ahead.
you answer.
No, I feel like, I kind of look at it like this Tyler Perry analogy that he gave. People are like trees. You have the leaves where the trees, when the seasons change and the wind blows, they're not there. And you have the branches, which look strong, but then when you walk out there on that branch thinking that support you, then they're going to break. And then you have people that are like the roots of the tree. And if you can find some friends who are like the roots of the tree, then you're good. So for me, I'm very fortunate. I have quite a few roots, and I've been lucky to have amazing roots in my life. And so for me, because don't, like when it comes to intimate relationships, that might be a bit tough. But when it comes to like certain friendships and things, I look at them like trees, which is why I say we allow them to affect us in a certain way, because that's how I have compartmentalized, in a way, some of my friendships. Because when it comes to my friendships and I'm like, okay, we're friends and I'm going to be there for you, it's because I believe that you're a root, and I've seen you as a root, and I've watched you. Some of you guys, I probably watched longer than you guys knew I was watching you, or you guys watched me, who knows? But I know for me, because I really wholly believe that we also we attract sometimes what we are in certain cases, depending on the point in life that we're at. I'm a root person. And so for me, I've gotten to the point where, at least for my friendships, I've always asked, bring me roots. And so I haven't made too many new friends because I'm good with the roots that I have. Does that make sense? And so when it comes to my friendships, because I do give such loyalty and I do give of myself quite a bit, like I will give the shirt off my back for my roots, and there's been times where I don't have money, but one of my roots needed it. And I'm like, it's okay. I can go without this for a little bit. I'll make it back up. But my root over there needs some water, so let me send what I have. So for me, I feel like at this point in time, a lot of what I am attracting is a lot of good energy in cases, but I'm not trying to attract things that aren't roots. I guess is the way I'm saying it. Pushing out my reality for not.
No, it makes sense. It still goes back to spiritual tribe. You're choosing who your tribe is, and you're choosing what to pour into them. Just like Smooth Shay said, giving out an empty cup can generate resentment. A lot of people find the people that they want to put energy in, pour energy into, because that's their spiritual family. That's their soul family. And I think as we become spiritual, as we evolve, we have to understand that sometimes that family unit becomes very small and tight. It's not a ton of people. Is that a wasp in here? It sure is. I'm fixing to catch that bug and put his ass in a jar. He gonna do some work. But there. I know. Look, I'm trying to be good, and I'm thinking about some dark, some shitty shit, right? Because I already know who he gonna work for too. So just let's scratch that. Forget I even said that. But I do believe that as we grow as spiritual beings, because of course, we're in a human body, but we're spiritual, regardless of what religion or whatever you practice. There is a thing of connecting with people that are like-minded, that help you grow. They support you. They help in your elevation because it's painful. These people are there to buffer. Like you say, your roots, they're your foundation, your building. And I think that's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
It really is. Help each other. We are, to a point of, like I said, being healthy, and not trauma bonding, not, connecting with toxic relationships because it feels right, because we all come from dysfunction and we have to see that. And I think Lionsgate energy is going to show a lot of people dysfunction. It's going to show a lot of things that are disconnected that need to be put back together. And this was a good talk on it. I hope that y'all got something out of it. I always feel like we got to research and learn new things. So I was excited about it because I learned a lot.
What
But
do
I
you
hope,
guys want to talk about next week?
yeah, what's the topic next week? Because we on the roll. We had let's see, somebody had brought up, oh God, I can't remember, because it was the soulmates, and it was something before we said Lionsgate. I can't remember what it is. I can't remember what it was. Lord, we getting old.
Yeah, I'm suffering from CRS.
Yeah, you guys, what do you want to talk about? What topic do y'all want to kind of go on next week? Where did that wasp go? I'm looking for a container. Past
The
lives.
tip
I like
just says
that.
past lives. We can do that.
I like that.
That'll be fun. But that might flow
Maybe,
into the Akashic Records, which will be interesting as well.
well, I have both decks, past lives and Akashic Records. So maybe we can even pull like a card for one person,
Okay.
and then an Akashic Records card, and see how does it correspond to that person in this present time. That's really
We could
good,
do
Tip
that.
Tip.
I have those decks too. I have
Okay,
the past
perfect.
lives and the Akashic.
Okay, perfect. Then we can go deep into past lives and the messages. So that sounds really good. So next week, past lives, Akashic Records, because it's gonna, like you say, it's gonna segue.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe two different Sundays where we can kind of go into past lives, touch on the Akashic records, but then go deeper into that.
All right.
Yeah, on the Sunday after. And what proof of past life existing? There's a lot of proof of past life existing for sure.
All right. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
So guys, it was great to see you guys and have you guys join us. I'm glad to be here again with you guys. Thank you guys for your patience with me. I'm happy to see my sisters, my soul gang. Tonya, don't get stung.
Don't get stung live.
It'll be embarrassing. Did you get it?
Girl, I'm a professional. What you talking about? Get stung? I'm a professional.
Well, I'm glad that you got your wasp. I have a dead wasp over by the steps, so that's what I got. And I got some dead wasps packed up. But thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm excited about our next topic, past lives, Akashic records, because I know that was brought up today, and that'll be interesting to touch on. I think one day we should touch on aliens. I mean, let's just be real. Saying you got downloaded and you were shaking.
Tanya loves aliens. Tanya's like, she loves aliens. I'm telling
Don't listen to these foolios because they know I be scared shitless of aliens.
I
But
think you like aliens. I think you do, because I mean, it's like the third time you had an encounter with some aliens.
Well, hey, we can talk about them. I mean, Chaz had a reading where he is connected to, what is it? Is it the Palladians? Palladians? How do you pronounce it?
He put it up there earlier.
He did put it up there. So yeah, all right. So we got topics for like the next 2-3 Sundays to keep us going.
Yeah.
So this should be good.
And
all
then
right, my love.
Tiff said next time different realms. So maybe we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll start off with past lives and kind of go through with it. Well, I'm gonna go work in my garden for a little bit. So you guys, I know Shishi, it's late where you're at, girl. Get you some sleep. Lynna, I will talk to you soon. I love you guys.
Right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.